Hi, everyone. Welcome in. You know what time it is, the time of the week where I predict and preview every game in week 6 of the 2024 NFL season. But of course, before I do that, I need to recap my picks from a week ago. It was a rather middling week for yours truly, 8-6. That improves my overall record to 45-33. My upset of the week pick was Tampa Bay beating Atlanta. They were so close to doing that. They were up 3 and got a late interception, and they couldn't capitalize on that. So I'm disappointed on that. Chiefs over the Saints, never a doubt about that. And Ravens Bengals was most definitely the game of the week. And I picked the correct winner, so I nailed that. Other than that, some hits, some misses, about a 500 week. Now, let's get into week 6. We begin with Thursday night with San Francisco visiting Seattle, both teams coming off very upsetting losses at home last week, respectively to the Cardinals and the Giants. Geno Smith has found great success in Seattle, but he's really struggled. I think he's 0-4 against San Francisco. I think San Francisco's better than Seattle. Seattle got off to a great start to the season. However, I think they're coming back to earth a little bit. I think that's going to continue on Thursday night. I think the 49ers win this game 23-17. Head across the pond to London with Jacksonville and Chicago. I know Jacksonville scored 37 last week. That's a smokescreen. Anyone can score on Indy. The Bears' defense is elite. I still think the Jaguars' offense is bad, and they will really struggle to move the ball in this game. Caleb Williams, on the other hand, it's been a little rocky to begin the season. However, he had a really, really solid performance last week against Carolina. I think he's going to be able to do that again this week against a disappointing Jaguars defense. And I'll take the Bears here 24-10. I have this next one as the game of the week. Baltimore hosting Washington. Both teams coming in on win streaks. Washington a 4-game win streak. Baltimore a 3-game win streak. Both of these teams have high-powered offenses with excellent quarterbacks and suspect defenses. So I think both teams are going to score comfortably in the 30s. As far as which team I think will win the game, I like Baltimore simply because they're at home. They're more experienced. I think Washington is on a bit of a sugar high. They're going to come down at some point. I think Washington is going to win this division, and they're going to be really good this year, but I do think they come back to earth a bit. So I'll take the Ravens to win this one, 35-31. We then look at Houston. Houston, we all, including myself, have had pretty high, and we still have very high expectations for this Houston Texans team in 2024. However, they haven't looked like the dominant team that a lot of us have expected. They have a negative point differential. I think it's like -12 in spite of the fact that they're 4-1. And the reason for that is they don't blow anyone out, and their one loss was a blowout loss. A couple weeks ago, they went to the wire with a really bad Jaguars team. Last week, they did beat Buffalo at home, and in theory, that's a good win. However, that game was close late, in large part due to their own incompetence. The Patriots are heavy underdogs at home. I do not think they are good at all. However, I think they're about the same caliber of a team as Jacksonville. I think New England can definitely, I think they're underdogs by 7 points here. I do think that they can lose this game by less than 7, covering the 7 late. So give me the Texans to win, but in a game that's closer than it should be, 21-16. Next up, the Titans and the Colts. I know the Titans are coming off a bye, and the week before that, they had a 19-point win down in Miami. I don't know who their starting quarterback is going to be for this game, whether it's going to be Mason Rudolph or Will Levis. I'm going to assume it's Will Levis. Will Levis, of course, is probably the worst quarterback in the NFL. He has the most baffling turnovers you'll ever see. The Colts are coming off a tough loss down in Jacksonville. I like the Colts to bounce back with a win here, 24-20, likely due to some egregious error by Will Levis. Arizona Cardinals stock is definitely on the rise after their big upset win in San Francisco last week, 24-23. And while I applaud them for that win, I think that they were lucky to get away with it. Of course, there was that moment in the game when the 49ers were in the red zone and, Jordan Mason lost that fumble. And then Brock Purdy, who's been pretty good this year in spite of some of the injuries they've had on offense, had a bad day and threw the game-ending pick. I don't think this Cardinals defense is good. Jordan Love bounced back nicely last week. The Packers defense, I still have a few concerns about them, but I definitely think the Packers defense is better than the Cardinals defense. I think Jordan Love should have a day against this Cardinals defense. So I like the Packers to win here in a moderately high-scoring game, 28-23. Tampa Bay this year, outside of a Week 3 loss at home against the Denver Broncos, has been excellent this year, and Baker Mayfield has been excellent. They are coming off a bye here. The Saints won their first 2, but are now coming off 3 straight losses. Tampa Bay has won the last 2 meetings in New Orleans. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to have a really good day throwing the ball against this Saints defense, and I like Tampa Bay to win here and give the Saints their 4th straight loss, 24-23. The last of the 1 o'clock games is the Eagles hosting Cleveland. The Eagles, I know they're coming off a bye, but they're a super hard team for me to believe in right now. The first 4 weeks of the season, Jalen Hurts still looks like he's regressed. The Eagles defense looks highly unreliable, and Nick Sirianni looks very in over his head. However, Cleveland is even harder to believe in the sense that they're impossible to believe in because they are terrible, and Deshaun Watson is terrible, and he doesn't look like he even wants to be playing. On the basis of that, I have to pick Philadelphia to win here. It's a must-win for them, and they're at home. I do expect this game to be low-scoring and sloppy. I imagine a few Sirianni blunders will keep this thing close, but I do like the Eagles to pull one out here, 19-12. 4:05 Eastern on Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers visit the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, and I can already tell that this game is going to be super low-scoring, very defensive-centric, and probably pretty sloppy with bad quarterback play. However, the Steelers are the clear choice here. Mike Tomlin versus Antonio Pierce. That's a complete coaching mismatch. The Steelers are coming off 2 straight losses, so there's a greater sense of urgency for them to win this game. The Steelers travel very well, so I don't think that the Raiders will have much of a home field advantage here, and I think the Steelers are an overall better team than the Raiders. So give me the Steelers to win here. The Steelers, as we know, always play close games, so this is going to be low scoring. The Steelers win 15-10. Denver, coming into their home game against the LA Chargers, is hot. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Their defense is elite. I will give them that. However, I don't think that this run by Denver is sustainable. I don't think they're a very good team. The Chargers, on the other hand, are coming off a bye. They're off 2 straight losses. There's a much greater sense of urgency for this Chargers team. I think that the Chargers are a better team than the Broncos. I think this is going to be low scoring, as both of these defenses are very good, but I like the Chargers here in a close one, 18-16. The Dallas Cowboys, through 5 weeks of the 2024 season, are undefeated on the road with wins against the Browns, the Giants, and the Steelers last week, and winless at home with losses against New Orleans and Baltimore. If you told me that that would be the case through 5 weeks, I would have called you crazy, but here we are. I don't want to believe that Dallas is going to fall to 0-3 at home. However, I have to pick them to do that. I was not impressed at all with the Cowboys' win over Pittsburgh last week. I thought they looked very sloppy against a team that had no offense whatsoever. I haven't been impressed by Dallas since week 1 when they faced Deshaun Watson, and let's be honest, what defense isn't going to look impressive against Deshaun Watson at this point? I think the Cowboys' defense is bad. I think Jared Goff in a dome is going to light them up. I think that the Cowboys will be able to keep pace, as their offense tends to perform better at home. But I like the Lions to win this game 31-26. I like the Falcons to win in Carolina. Atlanta is coming off a mini bye, and in that Thursday night game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kirk Cousins really got going with over 500 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Carolina, on the other hand, is awful. Their defense is awful with some of the key injuries that they had. I don't think their offense is good at all. I think that Atlanta's defense should be able to deal with Carolina's offense easily. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to build on the momentum of last week's win over Tampa. So I like the Falcons with a double-digit win here, 31-17 over the Panthers. So this next one will be my lock of the week. Not a soul could have seen it coming that the Cincinnati Bengals would start this season 1-4 with their lone win coming against the Carolina Panthers. However, that 1-4 start has had little to nothing to do with Joe Burrow, who since week 1 when he was awful in a loss to the Patriots, Joe Burrow since then has been exceptional, and he was exceptional last week, but he lost because his defense gave up 41 points. Do I think Daniel Jones could move the ball a bit on this Bengals defense? Because the Bengals defense has been terrible. I do think he'll be able to move the ball a bit. However, at the end of the day, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. He's going to have some pretty bad plays that really mess the Giants up. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to stay hot here. I think the Bengals absolutely need this game. You absolutely positively cannot be 1-5. I like the Cincinnati Bengals to blow out the Giants in a really bad Sunday night game, 38-20. These two teams, the Bills and the Jets, are on fire right now, and I don't mean on fire in the good sense. Both teams have a ton of things to be concerned about, if not panicking about. However, the Jets are a field goal underdog at home. I've watched the Bills the last 2 weeks. They should not be road favorites against anybody other than Las Vegas, New England, Carolina, or the Giants. Their offense looks to be in complete disarray. Josh Allen had a 30 completion percentage last week. Do I think Josh Allen's going to rebound at some point? Yes, I do. However, he never plays well against the Jets at MetLife. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be that good, but I think he'll do enough for the Jets to win this game. I think that the Bills' defense will keep them in it, but I just can't have faith in the Bills after what I've seen from them the last 2 weeks. So give me the Jets to upset the Bills here, 20-14. And that is all for today. I remind you to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and to leave a comment telling me what I was right about, what I was wrong about, and how I can improve these videos in the future. I appreciate the feedback very, very much. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, please hit the subscribe button to support my channel. I would also appreciate that very, very much. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you again real soon.